Corcoran showed while he averages double figures.
They've got the numbers, Perth, 4-2. Grace to Crawford, who makes the jam, and that'll get the crowd going.
Nelson was backing up his 13-point first term with a 14-point second period. His relentless charges at the ring had the Geelong defence rattled. In Geelong's offence, Vince Hinchin was doing some rattling of his own, virtually locking into a scoring shootout with Nelson and emerging as Geelong's future force in scoring with a 12-point term. The Tazzy Devils lost key scorers Perry, Nelson and Telford in quick succession in the closing minutes, shutting down their heavy artillery and helping Geelong surge.
Heel led Brisbane scorers with 8 points.
And that's exactly what the Sydney Kings didn't want to give up. Those shots to Shane Hill where he just picks them up and kind of semi-transition. And that's a high percentage shot by Leon Trimingham. And so is this one by Andre Moore. Bang!
Nice jam. But, well, what happened there? Oh, my! Well, what happened there was that Brisbane was afraid of the back across the halfway past Donaldson.
Roger Smith way too quick for Mark Dalton, but there's absolutely no help in the key.
Reese makes a tough basket coming up here. It was a big first quarter. He had 11 points as Canberra led 29-23.
He also followed up in this with the same 11-point outburst in the second quarter. Mike Mitchell with a nice jam, and he had only 3 field goals in the first half for his 10 points.
And that was where they took a big control of the game, despite this nice dunk from Andrew Goodwin.
They go to Hill. He turns, he swivels, Closes all over him. He goes for a three-point bomb.
It's good! It's good off the glass!
Up. In big, bold letters at the Palace. He gets them both. So it's 2 points the difference. The clock's counting down. Count it down with us. As up comes Lafleur, a three-point shot will win them the game. A 2 will put it into overtime. D'Ambrosius dishes it off the glass. Herzog pulls it down, and it's all over. The Cannons have upset the Rollers.
Headed by Father Cal, the Brutons are a basketball dynasty. Cal is back in Perth, reunited with son CJ, now a Wildcat star in his own right. Elliot and the youngest boy, Austin, who has all the skills of his father and older brothers.
He's getting a bit old and a bit slow for the game, but yeah, we still play around with him sometimes.
We told him he better give it up, you know, he's got to give it to the younger generation now. They've always been at games and been floor wipers and been my most avid supporters, and now they're getting a chance to realize that, you know, they can do it too. I'm come back with no place to stay, no job, no car.
Like when you first came there, isn't it?
Yeah, well...
The Bruton boys are well aware of Dad's contribution to the game and his immense talent, which is still plainly obvious.
Still remember him, still got all the tapes at home and stuff, yeah, so I watch them every now and then.
I do have a lot of memories, like his quick passes, his spin moves. I still got all that down pat, so I've still got a lot to learn from him as well as from Ricky and the other players in the team.
Phil Smythe here yet again, and this is round 13.
The gaze factor was now coming into play. With scores from so far out, you'd think there was some help from up there. Emerging as another scoring option besides the regulars Mitchell and Lafleur was D'Ambrosius, keeping his tally up there with the imports. Simo was on alley-oops. Melbourne used the third term to pour on the scoring. Cope showing he really does enjoy a nice jam. But one of Mark Bradkey's best nights ever on the boards with 14 defensive rebounds, and the buzzer sounding just before the Rollers could get in front, got Melbourne home by 2 points, 97-95.
Eubank tried hard against his old team, scores locked at 14 all. Enter Scott Ninnis from the bench, and the Sixers led by 8 points at quarter time.
Ninnis to Rose was super basketball.
Townsville often bewildered by the Sixers' superb defence.
With defence like that, points are very hard to get.
However, with 7:32 left in the final quarter, the Sixers snapped back into action, a sizzling finish to secure an emphatic 29-point victory.
Davis, Rose, Smythe, Ninnis, and points for Adelaide. Away goes Ninnis, and dunks.
They're working the ball around very impressively. The passing slick, the moving good. Even the big Mac got in on the fun, and the Devils were out to a 21-point lead.
Rucker on the run is beautiful.
Nice little fall away. Big drive by Jensen. At half-time, the Devils were still ahead, but the leeway had been cut to 9. After the break, it was a new model Falcon that took to the court. McLean came off the bench and he set Newcastle alight. 3 3-pointers helping the visitors to a narrow lead. In the second half, Newcastle scored 61 points, while the Devils could manage just 37.
Mike Mitchell was rocking the house with more of those ballistic dunks, while Andre Lafleur kept chipping away at the hoop, giving the Rollers a 9-point lead at half-time. Mitchell fired again in the third, but only briefly, as Geelong swung the scoring tide. Darren Rowe was proving his worth as a new import. The last quarter showdown had everything. Each time Geelong scored, Gold Coast answered with the margin never exceeding 4 points. In the last minute, Geelong were up by 2 and looked set for a second straight win at home, till Doug Peacock found himself at 3-point range and launched the shot of a lifetime, landing 3 and getting the Rollers home by 1.
29 all, in fact, at quarter time, Steve.
That's right. Shane Heal bombs away here, and Leroy Loggins was just having a Leroy game, and he was even more lethal than David Close. He was 4 for 5 from outside the stripe.
Canberra actually led this game at the halftime break. They'd picked up a lead, 62-57, but of course that was not a lot. It was still very close. Nice offense here, finishing with the Leroy jam. Well, Canberra still had the lead, 95-93 at three-quarter time, but as you can see, Brisbane overpowered them in the final quarter.
They're in hot pursuit of every loose ball, and those are the type of wins you pick up when you get after the basketball like that, the team that goes after all those loose balls.
Trimingham with a nice tomahawk there. He had 7 points in the third quarter, which was his best quarter, but Sydney still went down further. They were 21 down at three-quarter time. Beautiful pass there. Nice inside play, David Graham. He had 14 points in the second half. The Magic started to ease up a little bit. They only outscored Sydney by 4 in the third quarter. Final quarter, well, they were just too good after that. And McKinnon on the fast break. That is just beautiful to watch. They outscored the Kings 34-24 in the final quarter. So comprehensive win, and full credit to the Magic for maintaining the rage in that final quarter.
Fisher was winning his duel with Jones, while Lucas Agrams was enjoying his show of muscle with Vlahoff. Into the fourth, and as their 13th consecutive loss loomed, David Blades' flash of brilliance was matched by Bruen.
Bruen with the steal, then the dish to Fisher. Champagne basketball by Perth.
If that's not enough to bring the fans back, how about this?
Crawford through the middle.
Oh, what a jam by James Crawford.
Butch Hayes, so important to their offense, kicking it to Mick Corcoran, and he's shooting the ball very confidently this year. Look at this play. That's why I was stuttering, because I was waiting for this one to come up. Daryl McDonald doing it so nice.
Nice execution here from the Giants. They're staying in touch. As I said, there's nothing in this game. Nice inside pass.
It's right down to the final seconds. It's in the hands of the money man, McDonald. 9 seconds, 8 seconds, 6 seconds. McDonald dishes back out. Leader for a 3. He missed the shot. Side ball. And a foul has been called on Pat Reedy with 1.9 seconds. The Hawks have got it.
I'm Ray Bruen from Jalong Supercats, and you're ready to watch round 14 of the NBL Mitsubishi Challenge.
What they wouldn't have been pleased with was the way the Devils started, allowing the Kings to skip out to an early lead. Telford did his bit.
Telford will jam this.
And Nelson was again in great form. Defensively, the Kings had been superb. This, a perfect example.
Oh, Trimingham, sensational.
The Devils tried to get back into the match, but still stinging from a last start hiding, the Kings weren't about to let this one slip.
With the night's work now set out in front of them, Geelong looked to the ever-reliable Everett Stevens to head their charge. He was supported by Hinchin, who's growing to be just as solid as the season goes on. But again, Adelaide were able to balloon that lead to 16 at half-time, with Chris Blakemore impressively outgunning Borna. The Supercats had little way of containing the brilliance of Robert Rose. They put everything into a 4-minute explosion midway through the last term to get back within 4 points. Once again under pressure, Adelaide produced. Accurate long-range shooting from Brett Maher this time gave the Super Sixers the game 101-110.
Oh, that three worked. That's a lot earlier on if you compute. There's a big three from Johnson.
A pep talk from coach Mark Bragg brought the desired results. The Suns piled on the points early in the second term. Johnson found range and Ricky Jones made a statement. The Suns weren't to be denied. Their fans celebrated, breaking a 13-game losing streak to record a 24-point victory.
They just want to treat their fans to some more champagne basketball.
Like that.
Intercept, turnover, Mike Johnson grabs it, Tony Jensen, he has Dozier, he doesn't need him.
Oh, Jensen, magnificent! Oh, this is one of the great performances. There's the penetration, Jensen has the hot hand, Rucker, can he hit from outside at last?
It remains to be seen whether he can take further part in the game, it may just be a slight strain. Dozier takes the jump shot, that's it, the Falcons, their offensive shooting is really picking up tonight.
Rollers led 26-22 at quarter time. And looking good with Peter Hill. That one was curving away for the big bomb.
As we talk about that man, here he comes with another way of how he hurts you, stealing the basketball, leading the league in steals.
That would be Peter Hill for three.
Peter Hill, another bomb there. North Melbourne still held a 7-point lead, though, at three-quarter time. And they were pretty tight inside, mainly with the two.
And they just seem to be very spectacular. And speaking of spectacular, how was that?
What a way to finish the game. And Andre, of course, doesn't look too happy. And he makes a lovely behind-the-back pass coming up pretty shortly to give Leroy Loggins a nice bucket. There it is, Shane Heal right in this game. Didn't have a 40-pointer last night, but he did just about everything else.
A free-flowing, fast game. And speaking of somebody who likes it in the open court, Roger Smith, and he had a handy game. The Bullets shot over well into the 50 percentile. The Brisbane Bullets just get the basketball out. Wayne Larkins kicks it over to Shane Frawling, and that just tops it off. Shane Frawling with a nice dunk to finish it off. That was his first shot attempt. And Greg Hubbard kicks that one to Leon Trimingham, who gets it erased by Melvin Thomas.
And Trimingham, of course, does the same thing on Chucky Harmison here on the Illawarra offense.
I don't care how well they play at home. I don't like... Whoa! Look at that. I forgot that was on there. Leon Trimingham.
Hubbard's away. Here comes another slam. Thank you, man. Trimingham.
As I get older dunking, the tricky things in basketball is just getting prepared for the game, to make sure that each night you're ready to go out and you're ready to play. This is Ray Borner back again, and you'll be ready for round 15 coming up right now.
Andrew Gaze, thriving on the big home crowd, helped the Tigers skip away to an early 7-point lead. But it wasn't long till Tony Ronaldson found the hoop and the Magic edged ahead. Mark Bradkey was winning the battle of the big men. He finished with 10 points for the term, while John Dorge had 3 fouls, but the Magic had the lead by 3. Dave Simmons fought to keep the Tigers in front. But a couple of magic threes from Ronaldson and Graham had South East Melbourne up 71-69 going into the last period. But the Tigers were safely in front. Bernard Copeland slamming another classic alley-oop to cement a respectable 14-point win, 104-90.
First to it, Stevens. Clever pass to Exum, going all the way, gets the 2.
Recalled started. Trevor Torrens added the early punch, while Vlahoff, the only forward in the top 10 good hands, showed style. Vince Hinchin and Scott Fisher eased into it, but Torrens was hot. Crawford's run ignited an avalanche of points as stopping Torrens became a priority, against some rampant rebounding and running. Now let's test that hip again. Stevens' touch was answered, and some late Jalong run provided scoreline credibility.
The DMAC was starting to find his way loose from Smythe, and the frequent double teaming to hand off some super passes as well. Again, another buzzer beater from Ninnis kept Adelaide in touch, 56-55 at half-time. Daryl McDonald broke the drought. His fancy work drew the Giants to within 10 points midway through the period, but that was as close as they could get. As tough as they fought, Adelaide were able to get to the hoop easier, and with their confidence growing, ran away winners 115 to 92.
Reese and Justin Withers were igniting the Cannons, the pair blasting 31 points between them in the first half.